We just wait 2 minutes more and later we have started our lecture. So very good afternoon to all. So in the last lecture we discussed about how we can find out the three main parameter of the transmission line. One is the standing wave ratio, which is nothing but a SWR. Second is the reflection coefficient, and third one is the transmission coefficient. So this standing wave is generated because of the mismatch in terms of the impedance between the antenna to the free space to the feed cable, or maybe feeder cable to the transmission line, or maybe your transmitter circuitry. So always there is some matching circuit will be required to reduce the losses. So because of this reflected wave, there is a chances of the generation of the standing wave. So if the standing wave is present in your circuitry, then it will be signals will be reflected and the total conversion from electrical to the electromagnetic wave, which is not possible. So getting the PPT on your screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now today we discuss about the oblique angle or oblique incidence angle whenever you are given the any signals in terms of the one medium to another one, there is a chances this signals will be either reflected, either diffracted, or either it may be scattered according to the whatever the edges of your interface between the two medium, or the uh, area which may be a um, present between where your incidence angle should be there. So this angle, which is nothing but a oblique incidence. So whenever you have a two medium, one medium is either dielectric, second medium is either free space or maybe conductor, and the signal will be moving from any one of the medium to the another one. So there is a chances of the signals will be reflected, scattered, or it may be diffracted. So because of this one, there is a generation of the angle, which is nothing but an incidence angle or maybe a refraction angle. So today we discuss about the two phenomena. One is the parallel polarization, second is the oblique incidence. So you can see there is a one medium where the signals will be coming from either in a parallel one or it may be perpendicular to the surface. So one medium is nothing but a free space and second medium is nothing but a your either dielectric or the conductor. Whenever the one medium is coming from free space to the dielectric, there is a chances the signals will be either generated the different angle compared to the incidence angle. So this is our structure we are selected. So whenever the signal is traveled from the free space, this is generalized equation of the signal, which is the function of the r and t. In this case, r is similar to the z, but they're assuming it's the distance with r. Otherwise, only we discuss the electric field, which is the function of the z and t, and we are multiply the cos or maybe a sine omega t. But in this case, Z they are replaced with some distance because they are traveling with some distance. So that's why E, which is a function of the R and T, have a magnitude is E0, and there is some cosine function they are taken. And this is the real part of your signals which is transmitted. So they are mentioning the R is nothing but a distance vector, so it means it is some position vector at which you are trying to find out the angle of incidence. That's why they are considered the position vector. And wave number, later we discuss what is the wave number, because this topic is something related to your waveguide, so I'm just skipping this part, the K part. Okay, but right now you can consider the K is something related to a propagation constant. It's a propagation constant. Like if you see the equation, whenever you are deal with a medium which is in the free space or maybe dielectric, then you are considering it's a gamma. Gamma is your propagation constant, which depends upon the alpha and beta. Alpha is your attenuation constant and beta is your phase shift constant. So it is similar thing, but the notation is slightly different. But you can assume this is the propagation constant in terms of the vector form. So now, whenever you deal with some medium which is limited lossless medium, then always we are considering the attenuation is tends to 0. Whenever you are assuming the medium is the lossless means there is a no change in my amplitude level. So alpha is your attenuation constant. That's why the alpha is 0, because there is a no loss. So for the lossless medium, you can consider it's a beta, or gamma is equal to J beta. So it is similar thing in terms of it is K, it is a gamma, and it is a beta. Now you can easily understand from this figure where the medium is separate out. One is the medium 1, second is the medium 2. Medium 1 have a different electrical as well as the magnetic property, and medium 2 have also different electrical as well as the magnetic property. And medium is located in the XZ plane. Now if you see the incidence angle which is coming from the third quadrant, where it is mentioned with a theta I. Signal which is coming from this direction, and it will be enter at this interface where there is a two medium will be intersect. Okay. So from this signals where there is an angle with respect to surface or with respect to Z direction, they are mentioning it's a theta I. So theta is theta I, which is considered as a angle of incidence. Now at an interface there is a two chances. Either the signals will be transmitted. So you can see in a medium 2 there is also another wave which is mentioned with an angle theta t. T is for the transmission. Or it may be chances the signals will be reflected back in a same medium which have a direction or which have an angle is nothing but a theta r, and kr is the direction. So theta I is the angle of incidence, theta t is the angle of transmission, and theta r, which is nothing but a angle of the reflection. These are the notation which is required. Like a ki is basically what? It's a unit vector, which may be a direction which is perpendicular to the interface, which have two components x and z. You can see the signal which have a ki, or it is in terms of the vector form, which have a two components x and z. Like a they are just separate out the tangential components as well as the normal components. So in this case kix, which is nothing but a perpendicular components, and the kiz, which is nothing but a parallel components, because they are parallel to the z axis. We are not interested to derive this equation like they are mentioning the EI, ER and ET, which is already we discussed in a previous session, where you can see the transmission wave, reflected wave and incidence wave we are mentioning in terms of the equation. I just give the overview. We already discussed this part, but in a different way. Like you can see, we are assuming the two medium which have a medium 1 and medium 2, and we are write down the equation of the incident wave E0 e raised to gamma 1z into AX. Same thing for the reflected as well as the transmitted. But in this case, they are also similar one, but the difference is they are mentioning in terms of the K, which is nothing but a wave vector. Which is nothing but a wave vector. But generalized equation for the EI, ER and ET both are the similar, which is already discussed in a previous session. So you can see this is our KI, K is your input vector, which have a two components, one is Kiz and second is the Kix, according to the whatever the angle you are selected. In this case, the angle is theta I over here. But you can see, in this case, if I'm assuming this is theta I, so definitely this is also the theta angle, which is in a z direction. Now, they are mentioning the similar thing, but in terms of the vector form. So you can consider the gray color part is the medium 1 and this sky blue color is the medium 2. The incidence angle, which is with the theta I, have a electric field which is nothing but a EI, which is nothing but a EI. EI is the incidence vector, and HI, which is nothing but a either inside to your screen or in outside to your screen, and Ki is nothing but a direction of the signals. So you can see, just see the direction of EI and ET. EI and ET. So if your electric field, which is nothing but a parallel to the incidence plane, incidence planes means you can consider as a XZ plane. Incidence plane is nothing but a XZ plane. Then this kind of the wave direction, which is nothing but a consider as a orientation of your electric field. Polarization is nothing but a what? It's a orientation of your electric field. So in this case, EI is your input vector, which is parallel to your XZ plane. So that's why this polarization, which is considered as a parallel polarization. So you can see the direction of EI as well as the ET and the ER. Same thing they are mentioning in terms of the mathematical equation, but right now we are not discussing because it's not required for this to discuss about the incidence angle. But you can see this EI, which is nothing but a magnitude part as well as the real part as well as the cosine. Up till now, whatever the equation we are mentioning, either in terms of the real part or it may be imaginary part. But in this case, they are mentioning both the equation in terms of the cos as well as the sine angle. So is your input signals, ER is for reflected, and they are mentioning the electric field as well as the magnetic field by just divide the intrinsic impedance for the medium 1, have a eta 1. So EIS for the input signals, HIS for the magnetic field for the medium 1, ERS is the reflected signals, and HRS is the reflected magnetic field. This is for the transmission one. ETS and HTS, and the HTS is normally divided with eta 2 because it have a intrinsic impedance which is different compared to the medium 1. So we just mentioned the three equation ET, ER and EI in a different way, like a cos as well as the sine function. Now, based on this equation, you can easily identify it, the medium 1 electric field and the medium 2 electric field, because you can easily identify from this figure. From the sky blue color, there is a only transmitted electric field, and for the gray color, it's a ER as well as the EI, where EI is your incident wave, ER is the reflected wave. So we just combine this two electric field for the medium 1 equal to the medium 2. So this is the equation EI0, I for the incidence, cos theta I, because they are mentioning this equation in terms of the angle theta I. We are interested to find out this theta. So angle theta I, which is the incidence angle, e raised to minus j beta x sine theta 1. Why? Because normally the equation is e raised to minus gamma z. But in this case, it is the x direction, that's why it is mentioned with the x, and alpha is tends to 0 because we are assuming it's a lossless medium. So the first equation is for the incident wave, second equation is ER0 cos theta, it's for the reflected, and the angle you can see it is the theta r, which is equal to our transmitted signals ET cos theta, theta is for the transmitted angles, and e raised to minus j beta 2. So we are just write down this total electric field for the medium 1 equal to the total electric field for the medium 2. You can also mention in terms of the magnetic field, So the second equation, which is EI0 divided by eta 1, which is in terms of the magnetic field. Now, from this equation, you can write down the beta 1 sine theta I, because this equation is already similar to the whatever the equations we derived. So beta 1 sine theta I is equal to beta 1 sine theta R equal to beta 2 sine theta T. This is the way you can derive it. Like you can take this geometry and you can write down in terms of the beta form, and you can write down this equation beta I sine theta 1 equal to beta 2 sine theta 2. So theta is nothing but an incidence angle and theta r for reflection angle. And if you take this ratio of this two, beta 1 upon beta 2, then you may be getting the sine theta t upon sine theta I. And from this equation, you can write down the theta I term. Theta is our incidence angle, which maybe depends upon the electrical as well as the magnetic property of your medium, which is nothing but mu1 as well as the epsilon 1. So this equation is almost similar to the eta 1 upon eta 2, which is nothing but an intrinsic impedance. So you can write down this equation, which is considered as a Snell's law. So from this equation, you can easily find out the angle of the reflection as well as the angle of the transmission, if I know only the electrical as well as the magnetic properties of your medium. This coefficient, they are elaborated in terms of the angle. This is in terms of the x components of the electric field. So EI0 cos theta I, theta is your angle, incidence angle. ER0 cos theta. This is similar equation. Total electric field for the medium 1 is equal to total electric field for the medium 2. And we divide with a magnetic field. It means we have to divide with a eta 1. So you maybe replace it's a magnetic field. So this is another way to mention the reflection coefficient as well as the transmission coefficient in terms of the angle. It is in terms of the angle theta I and theta T. So there is a two different way to find out this reflection coefficient. One is already if I know the magnitude of your reflected waves and the magnitude of incidence wave, you can also derive the reflection coefficient. Second way, if I know the angle of incidence and angle of the transmission and the electrical and magnetic property of the medium, because already you are selected the medium, then already you are knowing this is our glass material which have a fixed epsilon and mu. If I have a free space, it have a fixed epsilon and mu. So eta 1 and eta 2 is already known. Theta and theta t is some theta I and theta t somehow you have to find out. Then I can easily find out the reflection coefficient as well as the transmission coefficient in terms of the angle. Brewster angle is nothing but a similar thing, but they are considering all the transmission at a interface should be the zero. So that's why this terminology which is mentioned with a Brewster angle, which have one scientist. So what is the meaning of this one? Whenever you are given the some signal as the input to a particular medium, you have to find out at which angle your transmission becomes a zero. Okay, this is very essential. Suppose you are transmitting some medium from one medium to another one. You transmitted one signal from one medium to another one. So input signal have an angle is either 30 degree, either 60 degree, either 90 degree, 120 degree. Based on this one, there is the chances of the reflection. It may be possible at some particular angle, the reflection is already tends to zero, but at some particular angle, the reflection is maximum one. Okay, so Brewster angle is nothing but a word. It's the incidence angle at which your reflection tends to the zero. So that's why they mentioning the theta is equal to theta b. So how you can find out? Already this equation is derived from the reflection coefficient, which is noted as this one. This terminology will be 0. It means this is our incidence angle theta I, and reflection is 0. It means the reflection coefficient is 0. So in this equation you can put this capital T is 0. So you can say this terminology is 0. So you can write down eta 2 cos theta T equal to eta 1 cos theta B. And theta I is just represent in terms of the theta B. Incidence angle, now it becomes a Brewster angle whenever your reflection is tends to the 0. So eta 2 cos theta T is equal to eta 1 cos theta B. And from this equation, you can also derive the cos theta B, which is nothing but a Brewster angle. So this equation is also derived in terms of the electrical as well as the magnetic properties. So sine square theta B, which is equal to 1 minus this all the equation, which is nothing but a Brewster angle at which your reflection tends to the 0. Okay. So always we are preferring the Brewster angle as an input angle, because at this level your reflection tends to the 0. So it means maximum transmission will be occur from your medium 1 to the medium 2. This is nothing but a perpendicular polarization. In this case, your electric field, which is nothing but a inside or maybe outside to this particular screen or maybe a particular page. So you can see now the incidence angle is theta I, which is almost similar, but EI, which is number 10, outside to this particular page or screen, and HI, which is the similar to the parallel to your XZ plane. Initially you can see which field is perpendicular in the parallel of polarization. It is the H field which is perpendicular to the XZ plane, but sorry, E field which is parallel to your XZ plane. But in terms of the perpendicular polarization, your electric field which is perpendicular to the X plane. So where is the electric field? For the medium one, which is nothing but a gray one, the gray color, which have a inside to this particular screen, which is mentioned with a EI. So EI is your input signals and theta is your incidence angle. So which is number 10, outside to this screen, it means it is a perpendicular to the XZ plane. So that's why this is called the perpendicular polarization. At the same time, you can also see ET, which is also inside or maybe outside to this particular screen, which is nothing but a perpendicular to the XZ plane. So that's why it is considered as a perpendicular polarization. Same thing we derived 3 equations in terms of the electric field, magnetic field for the incidence, transmitted and reflected. And don't go to the detail in terms of the mathematical part, like how you can write down this equation. You should know what is the perpendicular polarization, what is the parallel polarization, and this equation with the Brewster angle theta B, and this reflection coefficient, transmission coefficient for in terms of the intrinsic impedance as well as the input angle and the transmitted angles. This is only sufficient for you. So already they are write down this equation in terms of the incidence, transmitted, and the same thing they are performing. They are just find out the total electric field, which is equal to medium 1 for the total electric field for the medium 2, and we derived in terms of the reflection coefficient and the transmission coefficient. Same way they also find out the Brewster angle, which has some different equations. So in this particular chapter, you have to give the more focus in terms of the this summary part, because this is everything. It may be some of the example based on this one. For the oblique incidence, you should know what is the perpendicular polarization, what is the parallel polarization, how we can find out the Brewster angle, and how we can find out the reflection and the transmission coefficient of the normal incidence as well as the perpendicular incidence as well as the parallel incidence. So there is one example they are taken. There is electric field is already given to you. Somehow you have to find out the omega and lambda. So see, in this case, they are already mentioned they are traveling from in a free space with electric field components. So omega you can find out from this one. So any doubt for the parallel polarization or maybe a perpendicular polarization? Any doubt? Okay. So from next lecture onwards, we are trying to solve some of the example based on the mid-semester point of view. Okay? We are not considering from the next chapter because next chapter is the transmission line. So after the mid-semester, we are considering this transmission line chapters. So those who have any doubt for the any topic in a mid-semester, you can just find out this out, and in the next lecture, we are trying to solve it. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So right now, any students have any doubt? Okay. So taken the attendance. Okay. Your lecture is finished now.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.